conversation, the privilege of talking to him, there are many questions on my mind. None of which concerns our elections, but we have to talk about the elections today. Try as much as possible to stick to elections. And maybe when we are closing, we can ask a few questions just to conclude. But today, the focus is on the elections. Our preparations for election 2024, especially the ballot printing process. And let's talk about the security ahead of the polls. I'll share with you the Afrobarometer, the latest Afrobarometer survey, what it says about how Ghanaians felt in 2020 about the possibility of them being victims of election violence. So how are we securing the polls? Are there questions? Are there issues that we need to address urgently? Mr. Jakpa, good morning. See you. I sincerely apologize. I'm used to morning. Good evening.
Good evening, my brother.
My shift is in the morning.
Oh, I know.
To be very frank, my shift has always been in the morning. Whether it is the good morning conversation, Alaji and Alaji.
Okay.
My shift is always, I'm a morning man. But it's nice to see you this evening, and I hope you're well.
Yes, I'm doing well. I'm most grateful for the reception you gave me. I'm most grateful.
Finally, nice to meet you, but like I said, I will avoid the temptation of going to other places. But I was just talking about these elections.
Yeah.
For you, as an individual, when you think about these elections, what does it mean to you? Before we even go to the party for which you're working currently.
Wow. Well, for me, this election is like no other election that we've experienced since 92.
Like no other election?
No other election. Because I'm saying that because we're at a crossroad.
Okay.
Where we need to do whatever we can within the law to rescue this country.
Okay.
No, and we need to give this country the third independence, as I've always said.
Okay.
And that independence need to be secured and given to a leader that can steer this country, reset the country, and put it on a path of growth again.
Okay.
For now, we are drowning in debt.
Okay.
And you can see that all our state institutions are corrupted. Almost all of them, they are corrupted. You hardly find men of integrity. And the few men of integrity left, they are struggling just to stay and waiting for NDC to come so they can also breathe. They are just treading in order not to sink. Because if you don't want to join the rogues, they will either frame you up or flush you out. So that is what we are going through.
Okay.
Our institutions are broken down. Almost nothing is working in this country. The country has come to a standstill. We have no president. We have no leadership.
We do have a president.
No.
We do have a
president on paper.
A president on paper.
On paper. But then when it comes to talking of president in substance, there's leadership paralysis.
A president in... What's the difference? A president on paper, a president in substance. What's the difference between the two?
The difference is that, I would say, when you have a president, you have a leader.
Okay.
He takes responsibility. And then he when he sees the suffering and that his country is going down the abyss, he shows concern and he shares that with the people. And that's whatever sacrifice needs to do to get the country out. But when you have a president who doesn't listen to anything, doesn't really care, when you're even complaining, then he's even doing it the more. It's like he shows he doesn't really care about anything.
Okay.
You just drive around Accra, the whole country is in darkness. The street lights are all down. And he drives, he goes to work, he moves around. And he doesn't care. You see, if you want to know a country that you have leaders and they think about and they are working, you look at the street lights in the country.
That's how you tell?
It will give you the signal. Those are the small things that give you the signal.
So to you, the small details speak to a leadership paralysis?
Leads to that, the small details. A friend of mine entered this country, and a business guy. We were just roaming around in town. And he was shocked to see the country is in darkness. He said, why? I had nothing to say. And not that we are not paying for the street lights. We are paying for it. But you have leadership paralysis. He doesn't give a damn. So if he cannot pay attention to small details, basic things like street lighting, what else can the man do? And he also moves on the street. All the ministers are moving on the streets. The DCs are moving on the streets. But they don't care.
Well, that's quite interesting. So for you, but because we've had elections 1992, and after which I think the stolen verdict was written 96. There's the 2000 elections. That was one of the most dramatic elections I've ever seen in my life. There's 2004. There was 2004. There was 2008. There was 2012, 2016, 2020, then 2024. But he said these elections are the most crucial in the life of the Ghana in the Fourth Republic.
Yes. And to add to that, you see, I'm saying that because what happened in 1979, that we had a intervention, it's nothing compared to what Ghanaians are going through now. But you see, Ghanaians have reached a stage where they want to maintain the democratic system that they've been practicing for the past 3 decades. They don't want to go back to the military rule. So they are just sacrificing and containing this government, just waiting for the election to come so they can get them out. And if we don't protect the ballot and we allow these rogues to do what they did in 2020 by killing Ghanaians in order to stay in power, there will be an implosion in this country. And all that you and I have done for the past 30 years in democratic governance will come to naught. I hope you are getting the point I'm getting to now. So if you are in a country where you've gotten to a state where even the citizens, some cities are calling for the military to come in, they are pushing the military for a coup from normal citizens, then you can begin to understand. And we don't want that. We want to maintain democracy that we are practicing. So we need to do everything we can.
If you're talking about we, are you talking about the NDC?
I'm talking about Ghanaians.
Okay. So
in general, including the NDC.
That every Ghanaian needs to be part of the ballot protection process.
Oh yes. It's not only for the NDC. You see, NDC alone can't protect your ballot. Let's be honest here. NDC alone. It's a collective responsibility. You go and vote. Once, because you want to rescue Ghana and you want to get these rogues out of our country, governance, and let them go and rest more so that they can answer for what they've done over the years. When you finish voting, you stay around the permissive perimeter as a Ghanaian. Don't go home. Stay there and wait for the time to be up. They count. You watch the counting. When they finish, you insist that the pink sheet, they paste it on the tree or on the wall, and you take a picture of it as your evidence to help the NDC protect your votes. But if you vote and just walk away and leave all the NDC polling agent there, these government officials and MPP, they don't play by the rules. They will bring their tax, wear them uniform as if they are policemen or they are military men, attack our agents, and write whatever they want to write. But if they come and meet the electorate in their headdress around the polling station, eagerly waiting for their final results after the counting, they can't do anything. They can't do anything. So you are taking your own victory into your own hands. You want your vote to be counted. So when they are telling you that vote and go home, no, don't go. There's a permissible perimeter. Stay around. and be vigilant and protect your ballot.
Well, if you just join us, this is our very first edition of Election Matters for the 2024 election, and we have in studio the one and only Mr. Richard Jakpa. You have a job, and your job is part of this ballot protection process, because it is said that elections can be rigged at any stage, including the amount of ballot papers that are printed. So your job is to supervise the agents that are actually policing this process for the National Democratic Congress. First, I want to ask you, when people see you, how do they react? Because you've developed such a reputation. People do people see you usually as a difficult man when they see you doing this supervision?
Well, as a difficult man from the perspective of the MPP, and then some of the printing houses, yes, that's how they see me.
You're difficult.
Well, difficult is it depends upon where the angle you are coming from, and what you intend to achieve, and probably I'm not compromising. You may call me difficult. Someone also may be comfortable because he can see that what I'm doing is the right thing.
Okay.
So it depends upon it's an issue of how you want to interpret my difficult. So I cannot put a specific definition on it. It's your own perspective. But then getting back to what your question, yes, at the printing houses, yes, I have problems with challenges with the former BNI officials, national security operatives they brought over there. Once
you have national security operatives.
Oh yes, I'll get to that. You have problems with them over there, and then but for the MPP polling agents, no, I don't have an issue with them. It is rather the former BNI, which is now NIB, and the national security operative that they have put over there. The police over there, no problem. The printing houses, no problem at all, because the problem that I normally tell them, they try to let us sit down, we talk about it and we address it. But the main issue are the NIB and the national security operatives sent there. They are the issue. And each time they see me there, they are jittery. And you can see them making frantic phone calls, murmuring here and there. They are just not comfortable.
When they see you?
Whenever
you are present?
Whenever I appear in any printing house. In fact, just...
What do you do when you get there that gets them agitated?
Yeah, when I get there, I try to discover all security loopholes. That they could exploit to overprint. Or steal ballot, already printed and ready ballot booklets, steal them. So I move around, I ask very, very critical questions, and I observe around. And I'm very, very meticulous when it comes to those things. So the questions I ask, and when I see that those are very serious issues I've observed, I call for meeting. I'll call the management of the printing company, call the EC official that over there, and I put my case and my issues across. And when they listen to the issues I'm raising, they realize that no, the man is trying to plug all the loopholes.
The loopholes for the printing of extra ballot papers?
Yes, extra ballot papers and the rigging machinery that they have put in place in some of the printing houses.
You feel that they already have a rigging machinery that is at play in the printing houses?
Oh, yes. Now, but those ones have been identified and nipped in the bud. I've nipped them in the bud.
So take us through some of the things you have identified.
Yeah, I'll take you through.
What was observing the process?
Yeah. If you take Bulk Press, for instance, it's one of the printing companies. They are printing Ashanti region there. Ashanti region at Bulk Press. And then I think Savannah, where our flag bearer comes from. These two regions they are printing them at Bulk Press. And I am not accusing Bulk Press, because I've had a lovely meeting, nice meeting with their management, and certain measures have been put in place. In fact, there's Mr. Buckman himself, I think his general manager, they didn't know what was happening.
Okay.
Until I got there and I detected those things, which I'm going to be sharing with you. What I realized was I got there, I wanted to know how many sheets they were printing per constituency.
Okay.
You know, the EC, they've got their figures,
Okay.
what they need for each constituency.
Okay.
And for contingency, they decide to add 2% to what they need.
Oh, okay.
So when you add the 2% to what the EC need exactly, we call it adjusted figure.
Okay.
So when you throw, the printing houses are supposed to print the adjusted figure, which is the EC's figure plus 2%.
Okay.
That's what they are supposed to print.
EC's figure plus 2%.
Plus 2% for the EC.
Okay.
Just in case. It's for contingency. And which is allowed at IPAC. They've agreed on it.
Okay.
So now when you are printing, they print in sheets. A large sheet.
Okay.
It depends upon printing house. Some have 3 rows on a sheet, which means 3 ballot on a sheet.
Okay.
Some have 4 on a sheet, 5 on a sheet. Bulk press, they have 6 ballot papers on a sheet.
Okay. And the last sheet.
Large sheets.
Okay.
So, and then normally they will input the figure into the print machine. That's the sheet, number of sheets. And then they'll print. And that's what they'll use to do the serialization and everything. So when I got there, I wanted to know how many of the sheets they put in a printing machine to print. For 3 days, they were playing hanky-panky with me, tossing me here and there.
That should be easy to tell.
That should be easy to tell. And we are supposed to know. We are supposed to know. So I kept asking, they were tossing me up and down, So I had to find my own way to get the figures. Because once you get that initial print board figure, you can come out with a formula to know the excess.
Okay, the excess that have been printed.
That have been printed outside the EC's figure.
Oh, all right.
And that is where, if you don't monitor, the rigging starts.
Okay.
So the rigging that takes place at the polling station starts right from the printing. So if you are not able to identify and nip that move in the bud, and they finish the printing and they get the things out, you have a problem at the polling station.
Okay.
So I wanted a print board figure, and they were tossing me up and down. And that was at their middle level, management level.
Okay.
So they were playing hanky-panky with me for 3 days. So finally, I managed to get the figures on my own.
You got them without, they never gave you those?
They never gave me the figures.
Okay.
I got them on my own because I wanted to know the excess that they are printing outside the EC's figures, which they didn't make it known to my agent. And I wanted to know, because I know that's where the game is being played. So after 3 days of trying, they weren't getting for me. I found my own means to get the figures, the print board figures that they enter into the printing machines.
Okay.
And when I did my calculation, I came up with a formula. I did my calculation. I realized that per each constituency of the Ashanti region that they were printing over 3,000 ballots per each constituency as excess, as extra.
Extra? You're saying that so the total ballot papers for the constituency,
yes,
you said plus 2%.
2% of EC.
Yeah.
For contingency.
Okay. That aside, there was extra 3,000, over 3,000.
Over 3,000 per each constituency. So when I got the print board and I did the calculation to break down, and I arrived at that was giving me about 500 sheets extra that were printing. Now the 500 sheets, and each sheet has 6 rows of ballot papers. So you turn the 500 by 6. That will give you 3,000 ballot papers for the presidential per each constituency.
3,000 extra?
3,000 extra. That is for Ashanti and Savannah, where my flag bearer is coming from. So I got alarmed. I said,
Those are huge numbers.
Huge numbers. So times 3,000. For Ashanti region in particular, let's say 47 constituencies, you times 3,000 by 47. So you can imagine. And they were not disclosing, they didn't want to disclose the print board figures to me. So when I got it, I got alarmed. So I went to Buck Press and I demanded for a meeting to meet management.
Okay.
So I had access to meet the general manager. We sat down, a very nice man. No. So we sat down, then I put my issues to him. That this is what I've discovered. Your marketing manager and his other production people, they refuse to give me the figures for the past 3 days. And Ashanti region is the stronghold of the MPP. So I need the figures. I'm very particular about that particular region. So I need the figures. And for 3 days, they weren't giving me. I've gotten the figures. They asked me, okay, so what did I come up with? And I said, I've realized that we are printing 500 sheets extra, which translates to 3,000 ballots as excess per constituency. So he said, he looked at it. Then there was one particular constituency that the figure I got, I think it was rented wrongly. And that was given over 200,000. So that was the main, I was very particular about that place. So that's what I started with. And I said, probably I might be wrong in my calculation, or my agent was wrong in giving me that figure I was looking for. Or probably your printing press is wrong. There might be something wrong. So I'm coming for clarification. So let's sit down and discuss it before we move to the 500 extra sheets that you've been printing.
Okay. So
I took him through my formula that I use in arriving at their SS.
Okay.
Then when I finished, I said, it looks like I even understand the printing more than them. And I said, well, I'm a private investigator. This is what I do. No, I crack puzzles. So this is what I've done to arrive at your SS you are producing, even though you refuse to give me the figures. So I told him that. So he called his production team, all of them, almost about, I think, 5 or so of them. They should all come, because he was shocked. So he called them. They came and sat down. Then he asked me to go over my concerns again.
Okay.
I went over again. Then he asked them, are you printing 500 SS sheets for each constituency, which culminates into 3,000 ballots? They said yes. Then they said, he said, but that should be too much. Then they tried to justify that, oh, it's for operational losses.
Operational
losses within the printing press.
Okay.
Because, which is normal, it's true. But it was too much. It's true. It's not a lie. There are always operational losses, because when you are printing, some of the papers will get bad. When you are numbering serial, some will be double serial printing, so you have to discard it. A whole lot of other small issues that come up. But that percentage was too huge.
The extra, the over 3,000 that you had.
Just for the printing press alone, per each constituency. So I smelled an elephant in that game. So Then Buckman himself came into the meeting. The owner of the printing press himself came. Then he also listened. Then he was also alarmed. Then he said, okay, so the other constituencies that you finished, and they've done the serialization, and they've done the cutting and the stitching, how many of the SSs were left?
Okay.
They said, one of them said about 350 sheets, another one about 400. They said, then you are giving me cost. Because if 350 sheets, 400 sheets, times 6 to give you the ballot is what is left. So it means you use about 50 sheets or 70 sheets. And all these rest have been printed with pictures and security code and everything. They all go to waste. Times the constituencies. You are giving me cost.
Okay.
And so he didn't know that this was the excess that they were producing. And the general manager too didn't know about that.
Okay.
So he said they had to cut it down. And I told them that I've been to InnoLink, another printing press. The excess they are printing to take care of operational losses in their printing press is about 200 sheets.
200?
About 200 sheets.
Okay.
Times 6. Because they're also using 6 rows per sheet. Okay. Will give you about 1,200.
Okay. That's 1,200, not
yes.
no over 3,000.
No over 3,000. No. So I told him, and I said, I've been to Fonstadt under printing press. They are doing less than 100 sheets as operational losses. So, and they are even doing 3 rows.
Okay.
Not 6.
Even with 3 rows, they're doing less than.
Less. Okay. About less than 100 sheets as losses, as for operational contingencies. So I said, okay. Now you who are printing Ashanti region, and you are doing such huge losses. Now when you go to Checkpoint, another printing press, they are also printing Eastern region.
Okay.
Another stronghold of MPP. And they are also doing over 3,000 SS ballots per constituency.
Same as what you saw at Back Press.
As Back Press. And Checkpoint too, when I wanted the figures, for almost a week, they wouldn't give me the figures. The print board figures.
You had the same issue.
The same issue to
with Back Press as you had with Checkpoint. You're having the same thing.
Yes, because they were very economical giving that particular information. Because once you get the initial information, you're able to work down to arrive at the SS. So I was getting a bit angry because it's been days I want that figure, and they've been playing games with me too at Checkpoint. And that's that place, they print Eastern region. They are printing Eastern region over there. So I was very, very alarmed there too. Then finally, when I got angry, the general manager, they gave me the figures. When I checked, they are owned to 3,000 and over. So I said, well, is it a coincidence that Eastern region and Ashanti region, you are printing in excess of 3,000 ballot papers per each constituency and claiming them to be operational losses for the printing company. But your other printing firms that are printing other regions
are not doing.
They are all doing 200 and below. So, quickly my antennas went up. And I said, okay, I'm not going to argue, fight with you over your contingency plan for SS printing losses. But what I'm going to do is that I'm going to put in measures. You keep your 3,000. Because we already printed them, and that's what you are doing. Keep your 3,000. But this is what is going to happen from now on. I say, one, when you people are printing and you have damages, spoiled ballots, what do you do with them? They say, oh, they call our agents and then they go and shred them. And that's okay. When you are going to shred those that you've, those spoiled ballots and then sheets, do you count them before you shred them? They say, oh no, that we call the agents, tell them they are always in the dustbin. And we say, okay, these are the SS for the day, the spoiled for the day, so we are going to go and shred them. And then we move on. And I said, no. And I said, so you don't know how many of the sheets or ballot that you shred? They said, no, they don't count that, they just go and shred them. And I said, well, henceforth, that will not happen.
You want them to count? What
I want is that all the spoiled ballots and sheets, before you shred them at the close of the day, because when they spoil, you replace them from the SS 500 that you have created. You pick it from there to replace.
Okay. So you're able to tell exactly what the excess is. Okay.
Good.
The amount of
now that I know the SS that you are printing, and you claim therefore replacing spoiled ones. So as soon as you take your spoiled one and you are pulling a sheet from the SS to replace it, that spoiled one will also replace the one you pick from the SS.
Okay.
So the value must still be the same.
Okay.
I hope you are getting it.
Yes, yes, I get
it. Good. So I said, so now if you want to shred the spoiled one, I want you to call my agent and you count it.
You take account of the spoiled.
The spoiled one. Count them one by one. So my agent can take the figures of spoiled ballots or sheets that you are shredding for the day. Because some are staying in, some are double serialization, so double numbering, a whole lot of them.
Okay.
So count them before you shred. Because the figure that you put down, I will subtract it from the 500 sheets.
The extra that you
The
printed.
extra, I'll subtract it from it. So that when you finish with that constituency, and they have done all the stitching, the cutting, whatever, all those processes, and it goes into the vault, and you are going to shred the extra that you have not serialized yet. I'll count it from it before you shred, so that every single sheet can be accounted for from the extra you've printed outside the EC adjusted figure.
Okay.
I hope you are getting my...
I get your point.
So I started putting in these measures, and I started it from bulk press.
Okay.
So the general manager and bulkman, he asks their production people, so you people don't count the excess, you just shred them. They say yes. Okay, then let's adopt what Mr. Jakpa is saying, so that from now on, every single sheet or ballot spot must be counted and documented before being shredded, because the man wants every single sheet or ballot accounted for.
Okay.
So they began putting in that mechanism in place. And I decided to replicate it, to pass on to all the printing houses. I realized that they were doing the same. They were shredding spoiled ballots and sheets without counting them.
Okay. For you to know the amount of extra that they used to replace the spoils.
Yes.
Okay. And what was left over?
What was left over.
Okay.
At the end of the day, it must all sum up to the 500 sheets, the 3,000 that you printed for your printing house operational losses.
Okay.
Not the EC 2% adjusted figure. No. I hope you get a difference.
Yeah, I do.
Good. Because the reason why I put these measures in place is that when they print the ballot from the printing machine, the sheets are semi-live.
Okay.
Semi-live in the sense that all the security codes are on it. The watermark, all security codes are printed on it. Everything except the serial number.
Oh, okay.
Because there's a different machine that will do the serialing.
Okay.
Understand my point?
Okay.
So once it is printed, everything is on it ready. So it's semi-live. Once they print the serial number on it, it becomes live.
Okay.
Ready to go for voting.
Okay.
Do you not understand?
I understand.
Okay. So the essence that they print are semi-live. Only waiting for the serial number to be put on it. Then it's gone. So if they steal the semi-live, which is the essence, they pick 10 or 20 or 50 or 100 of the sheets. You times it by the rows. You know the number of ballots they have stolen. That is missing.
Okay.
So when they steal the semi-live, they will hide it. When you are done with the whole printing and the EC is gone, NDC is gone, all the agents are gone, and everything is gone to the pooling, the constituencies, nobody will pay attention anymore to the printing company because you are done with them.
Okay.
But those semi-live sheets that they were able to steal from the excess, that you were not meticulous, you didn't pay attention to, they can always take them back to the printing house or take them to any printing house. They will just put serial numbers on them, and they also become live
And can be used.
And they move them to their region, to that particular region, to print, and wait to send them to the polling station. And when we get there, I'll tell you how they do it. So to forestall that or to reduce that, it starts from the printing. How you manage the excess, they must account for it. For every single sheet or every single ballot must be accounted for before they are shredded. I hope you are getting it.
So for now, that is the agreement we have with them.
For now, that's what is happening.
They are going by the agreement?
No, yeah, they are going by. That's what is happening.
Okay.
And that makes the MPP agents, NIB, National Security people uncomfortable each time I appear, because I'll see something and I'll have to devise a way to deal with it.
But that should be easy because you're supposed to have to always be on the same page in terms of how things are done to make everybody comfortable.
Yeah, but when the printing companies are economical with information and they are not forthcoming with the figures, you need to find a way out. And now we know all the SSs in all the printing houses.
All the SSs in all
the SSs they are printing, we know all.
Even the days when they did not give you the information, you can account for.
No, now they are giving all.
Okay.
Now all the pooling, they are taking all the agents, they are taking all the print board figures.
No, I'm asking because you said you had to wait for days to.
No, that was initially.
Okay.
But after the protests and pushing, and we had challenges and misunderstanding here and there. Things have now settled.
Okay.
We are not on the same page. Things are working fine. Okay. And in fact, I have to commend Buck Press.
Okay.
The Mr. Buckman and the gentleman, they were very cooperative.
Okay.
Because they didn't know what was happening in the down there by their printing people. They didn't know until I drew their attention, and they didn't protest. In fact, they were happy about it. So they asked Buck Press in particular. They asked their production manager to take me into the machine room.
Okay.
For me to inspect all that they are doing. Probably I may see something that I'm not comfortable with. So the whole team went with me to their printing press. We went through everywhere, even to the vault where they'll be keeping the completed ballot paper, ballot booklets, where we'll be doing the final bagging and send them to the regions. That's the vault. We call it the vault. They took me there. So I went around all, and then when I got to their vault, I saw a security concern. I saw something that was not right. So I prompted them, which they will deal with it.
Okay. They will or they have?
Well,
or they've promised to?
Well, they will deal with it. But then it's not that much of a serious threat. Once there's surveillance, it can be dealt with. So because of all this, I told them that, look, you know something? Your security cameras, your CCTV cameras, which covers every operation, when we finish with the printing and we have to sign the final certificate, we will demand for a copy. Okay. Right from the time the printing started to the end of the printing, so that we can audit. Because you see, in 2020, the polling agent, the agents for each party per shift were 2.
Oh, okay.
2 for afternoon, 2 for morning, 2 for afternoon, 2 for overnight.
Okay.
Because they are human beings. One may be going to the gent. One may be going to urinate. No, do any other thing. And there must be as a backup. That has always been the case. But this particular election, the EC decided that they were going to give each political party only 1 agent per shift.
Room for 1 agent?
1 for agent per shift.
Why? Did they explain why?
No, I don't know what happened. But then we'll get to that.
Okay.
Later, Mr. Kisi gave me the reason. And you really see that there's something wrong. So you realize that when you enter the printing house, the printing machines are huge. There's a place for the printing. There's a place for the serialization, numbering, which are also different machines. There's a place for where they do the binding, the cutting, the sorting, the stitching. They're all different places in the same huge building, depending upon the printing press. Buck Press is huge. So different places, even where they do the sorting and the binding, it's in a different floor up the building. First floor. So now you have only 1 agent per shift.
Who is supposed to monitor all that?
How is it possible that 1 agent will be monitoring the printing, serializing, cutting, stitching, sorting, binding, which is in a different floor? Virtually impossible. Do you see the game? So that single agent will be mentally stressed. He will lose focus. That's the intention. And they were very smart in the sense that you give all the political parties only 1 agent. Then they bring in 2 national security operatives,
Okay.
2 NIB operatives to be inside the printing house.
Okay.
And you and I know that those are government apparatchiks. So the government indirectly has got 5 agents in the printing house.
You're suggesting that the NIB and the national security operatives would necessarily be working for the NPP?
My brother, you see, let's be very realistic here. The stakeholders for this election, NIB, which was formerly BNI, and national security, they have no locus, they have no place there.
Yeah.
It is easy. The printing houses, the political parties, and the police.
Yeah.
These are the 4 institutions, entities that are involved in this printing. NIB, nations, they have no locus, they have no place there. Okay. But because they came with this plan to reduce the agents so they can mount stress on our agents, they won't be able to monitor everything, and that will create the loopholes for them to be able to steal some of the SS sheets, the semi-life ones. And that's why initially they weren't giving the figures. Are you getting my point?
Yes.
Now? So to put us at against the odds, they decided that, okay, now let's bring national security and NIB. They'll be sitting down there. When you told, say, oh, it's security. But you and I know very well that the first point of call when it comes to any of this is the police. And surprisingly, the NIB personnel and the national security they've put there, they have no names.
No names.
No names. They've just printed a laminated tag, hang on their neck, national security. Finish. No picture, no name, so you can't identify them. And they are inside the printing house with only 1 NDC agent per shift. And they are 4. 2 national security, 2 NIB, plus the MPP agents. 5. Serving the same government interest. Because the government is MPP. Let's not pretend. Government is MPP. And they want to stay in power.
So as far as you're concerned, you've counted 5 agents.
5
for the New Patriotic Party.
Yes.
By
5.
the arrangement.
Yes. And you see, there's no way they are going to national security to bring permanent staffs to come and do this work. And the reason why they are not putting their names, so you can't trace them. So even in the event that they are engaged in any activity, illegal activity there, all that you can do is to describe him. And they'll say, we don't have such a person in our outfit. They can easily remove the tag from his neck. Or you can, every day, they can even put a tag on another person's neck. And the person will come national security. So I told them that this is not, it's unacceptable. Because the police have their names conspicuously written. They have their service number. So you can hold the person responsible. You know who you are dealing with. But these are people, national security, BNI personnel, or NIB you may call it. You can identify them. You don't know who they are. And they are there. So now, this is a game. So if an NDC man is standing at, let's say, the printing, where they are printing another constituency, and is there watching, they are doing serialization in a different machine, in a different place, maybe about 5 meters away, and there are other machines blocking him. They are doing cutting in another different place. They are doing stitching in a different place. They are doing sorting. They are doing binding in a different floor. He wouldn't know what is happening at the binding. And you see, the more that you are going, the more the security concern rises. Because once it's from semi-life, and they put a serial number on it, so it becomes life, then they are going to cut into ballots. They are going to do sorting, stitching, binding. Those are the places you must pay more attention to. But here's the case, the man is only one. So you see that one national security man is standing by our agents. And most often when our agents are moving, the national security personnel is following him. And the question, why are you following our agents around? So they are monitoring you. So whilst you are watching, they can give signal to their other colleague that, okay, his focus is here. Then they give the signal up. Then they can do whatever they want to do on the other side because you are not there. So they will be playing you around. I hope you get the game. Yeah, this is the game on the ground. So they've thought and planned this properly. So the odds are against us.
5 against 1.
5 against 1.
What you count.
So that's what I counted over there. So you can see that the Electoral Commission, Mr. Kisi, who is in charge of that particular aspect, they sat down and thought it properly that instead of 2, let's reduce the agents to 1 and say 1 for all political parties, level playing field. But we'll bring national security and NIB people to complement.
You're saying this is intentional from the Electoral Commission?
Intentional. So that they will mentally stress that single agent of the NDC. And they can play their games there. Because the rigging starts from the printing house. That's where it starts. It's not on the campaign platforms talking and no. It starts from the printing. That's where the rigging starts.
So I guess you've drawn the EC's attention to.
So I confronted Mr. Kisi, and I told him, "Why are you doing this? Why are you stressing our people?" Because I've entered the printing houses, and the places are huge. So many machines blocking everywhere, and the process is in different phases in different departments. Even though some of the printing presses is within the same building, but segmented. I hope you get my point. Some other printing houses, you may have it in 2 separate places.
Okay.
So I think, Mr. Kisi, let's be fair. 2020, there were 2, and they've always been 2. Why have you made it 1? Then you told me that, it was a convention, but it wasn't right. And I said, if it's not broken, why do you want to fix it?
That it was a convention.
It was a convention. It wasn't law, and to him it wasn't right, and that the place will be crowded. So the printing house will be crowded. He has reduced it to 1-1. And I said, so your concern was that the printing house floor will be crowded. That's why you reduce it to 1. Then he said, yes, because the place will be crowded. And I said, okay. So if you are reducing to 1, what are BNI and national security having 2 from national security, 2 from BNI per session, per shift there? They even have more personnel than the stakeholder, the political party. Do you understand my point?
Did you explain?
So, what crowding are you talking about? They've brought 4 per shift, and they are not creating the crowding. But it's a political party that is supposed that was having 2, 2020, and if you maintain the 2, that will create crowding. What you are saying doesn't make sense at all.
But did he explain the presence of national security and NIB operatives?
But he said that one is not within his domain.
It's not within the domain?
No, it's not within his domain.
So is he suggesting that the Electoral Commission did not request for these personnel?
No, because they are not part of the game, so they can't request for them. They only request for police. Police are those who handle it. National security and NIB, they have no business in this ballot printing business. They have no business there. What are they coming there to come and do? They don't have any business there. So that is why when they are there, their tags have no names.
So you're suggesting that even the EC person who is supposed to be in charge of this, you said his name is Mr. Kisi.
Kisi
is saying that it is not within his purview as to
how the deployment of national security and NIB. No, that is not his work. His own is that he has given 1 slot for each party to reduce crowding, as again 2020 2. And crowding was his issue. And I'm telling you, yes, we are talking about crowding, but here you have 4 being brought by 2 from NIB and 2 from national security. That is that not crowding? Is it not defeating your reason why you reduce our number and stressing our agents in so many phases of this printing, and thereby creating loopholes to exploit? So it has been nicely crafted. I hope you understand.
Yes.
Nicely crafted. They are very smart.
I understand that, but if you're concerned, how did you resolve that?
Yeah, so this is what I told them. I said, okay, that is your prerogative. You have the law gives you the right to exercise your discretion. But these are my countermeasures. Just as I just explained to you, every single sheet will be accounted for. And when we are done, before we sign a certificate of completion or distraction at the end of the printing, we will have to order the CCTV video to be sure that nothing untoward happened at the blind side of our agent, since our agent will be mentally stressed and cannot cover all the areas, the phases of the printing. because it's one human being. Now, when you come as a supervisor, you stay at the reception or outside. You don't enter the printing house.
Yourself when you go?
Yes. That's the law KC has put in place. That's a rule. You don't enter there. So that each point in time is only one agent there.
Okay.
Now, when you come, and the plan is that, when you come, you send for him. The security will go in there and go and call him to come out from the printing and come and meet you outside in the car park or the compound. So if you are to stay there for 20 minutes or 10 minutes for him to brief you of what is happening there, it means that NDs has no representation inside the printing house. You see how smart they are. You see how smart they are. Then they will say, it applies to all the political parties. When MPP also supervisor comes, he will call the agent to come out. Yes, he will come out. But they have NIB and National Security still inside the printing house. So you see how smart they are.
Did you not anticipate this?
Well,
when a proposal was put in first that you're going to have only one instead of two agents.
Well, I'm not part of the IPAC. I'm not part of IPAC. I was brought in to go and supervise agents. And when I went, because of my skill and expertise, I was able to detect this. And I was able to read the mind. Because, you see, you must think like a criminal to checkmate a criminal. If you go there as a prim and proper, and you are going to go by you are a man of conscience, and then everything is like a religious man. That game is not for you. You must think like a criminal. That's the only way you can crack their puzzle and checkmate them. So as soon as I got there and I saw that, I knew what they were about. But they always say, it's one agent for everyone. But then they have National Security and NIB as addition. So as soon as your agent comes out, the whole printing house there is free for them to do whatever they want to do. To come and brief you. And if your agent also goes out to go to the gent, to go and urinate or to go and eat himself, the place is free. Do you understand my point? If your agent has seen something and he wants to come and inform you, he has to leave the printing operational room where they are printing, come out to the reception, come and pick his phone, and then come and call you. That time, the place is empty. You don't have any backup. Are you understand the whole thing? If he wants to eat, you can't eat in the operational where they are printing. It's against the printing rules. So you have to leave there and come out to come and eat. So all the time that agent will be eating or come to drink water, they do whatever they want inside. They can do whatever they want inside there. So you see how they've sat down nicely to craft and create loopholes to exploit later. That's not my point. That is the game. It's a game of minds. It's not a game of muscles. And that's what they've done. So as soon as I arrived there, I detected all.
Okay.
And I knew what they were about. So I started putting in measures to plug that.
So you still have one agent there?
We still have one. I've protested. I've made it clear to the East. And I said, okay, you don't want to change. We told me that you still want to maintain the one. I don't have a problem. But we'll audit your CCTV. From the time the printing started to the end. Before we sign any certificate of completion.
CCTV?
Yes.
So you want the surveillance, we want to see?
I want to audit all. For the 3 weeks that the printing will be taking place, we will want to audit it to know, to find out whether anything happened behind our agents or the blind side of our agents. That must be done.
Before we sign off?
Oh, yes. You see, my brother, you must understand, the stakes are high. So there's no gentility in this game anymore. Because you are dealing with people who are so smart, you can see that they are determined not to play by the rules.
But do all these places have CCTV cameras?
They are CCTV. So I told them, we don't want any game that you tell us that, we had a problem here, or CCTV camera had a problem here, we off the machine, we didn't know. I said no. I also have CCTVs, a lot of them. So I know the days that your CCTV, your recording can last, and all those things. So I've made it clear to all the printing houses, especially Checkpoint and Bulk Press, where they are printing Eastern region and Ashanti region.
Yeah.
I made it clear to them. We will audit your CCTV because you cannot handicap us with only one agent. and expect that we'll just come and sign off. So your CCTV cameras are covering 24 hours. We'll audit them. We'll write to EC and request copies and go through it and be sure that not a single excess or nothing was printed or hidden. I hope you understand my concern.
I get it.
So these are some of the reasons why they are not comfortable with me. They are just not comfortable.
But on the matter of the national security and the NIB, beyond confronting the EC over it, have you tried to find out who actually deployed them?
Oh no, but national security and they can't be deployed without their heads. It's an institution that is well structured, well structured. So, but one thing that really, I had a confrontation with the national security at checkpoint. I think 3 or 4 days ago. I got to the place to do my usual supervisor work. As soon as I just entered into the car park now, then I was confronted by 2 national security operatives at checkpoint. That orders from above, we are not to allow you to enter.
Really?
Yeah. Then I said, orders from who above? They said, from our bosses. And I said, by the way, who are you? Then they showed me the attack. And I saw national security. And I said, young man, from national security, say yes. I said, okay. Go and tell Kandapa, the Jakpa, I'm saying that he has no locus here. The only stakeholders here is the police, Electoral Commission, the printing house, and the political party. National security is not a political party. So you have no locus here. So I will not obey your orders. I'm going to do what I came here to do. And you can't stop me. And don't dare touch me. So go and tell your boss. I said I will not obey their orders. So whoever told that I cannot enter there, I will enter. So we had a small commotion there. And then one Electoral Commission man came. And so, but the man has got accreditation. So
this was not an order from the Electoral Commission?
No. So he came in and said he had an accreditation. So the police also came in. And then he realized there was nothing they could do. And I had made giving them cogent arguments. I made it clear to them, they have no locus. And everyone there agreed with me. And I said, in any case, your tag that you are that your laminated tag has no name. So who are you, by the way? I said, just look at it. You have no name on it. You have no picture on it. So I don't even know who you are. And this tag that you're hanging, or rubber tag you're hanging on your neck, anybody can print it from any cafe or any company can just print this and hang it on your neck. So if you say you're a national security, show me your national security ID card. They couldn't show me their ID card. Because your ID card will really have your picture and everything, which is a rare national security ID card. You don't have it. You've gone to carry this laminated thing, no name, nothing, and you are standing there telling me that you receive orders from above that I shouldn't enter there when I have an accreditation. The only place I cannot enter is the printing room.
Okay.
Where my agents are.
That you're not allowed to enter.
That's where I'm not allowed, because the EC said supervisors cannot enter there. And I've told the reason why. They want to just leave one person there to be stressed.
You still insist that is
yes,
the intention?
Yes, that's the intention. You see, you must be able to read the minds of criminals. People with criminal intent. You see, you need to be
overly suspicious.
You need to belong to the world I belong to understand what I'm saying. You belong to a world that things are structured, they move nicely, and you can say, oh, this man can do this. I don't expect him to do this. But where I belong to, no. Not at all. And that is the motive.
I was asking whether you're not being overly suspicious.
No, not overly. You should be asking, why do you reduce it from 2 to 1? And you'd rather have 4 operatives from the government, and knowing very well the government, MPP is the government. MPP is the government. So let's not play around with this. It's to me, it's a very serious issue because I know the ramification. So that is why I am very, very wild on them. And I'm making sure that every single sheet, every single ballot is accounted for. So now they'll call the agents, they will count the spoiled ballots before they shred them. So that you don't create a situation where last day they printed 500 sheets. They don't, so it's left with 100. Then you ask them, why are the other 400? Oh, we shredded them. Why? Because they were not counting. So they can add anything instead of shredded. And in reality, they've only shredded about 50. And they've squandered about 200. It's gone. I want to avoid that.
So those were the main concerns you've had thus far?
Oh, yes. And once I started putting that measure, they became uncomfortable. And that's why they didn't even want me at checkpoints. And that's why they are printing Eastern region. You understand me? Mm-hmm. So I must be concerned.
Why you're not allowed to enter the printing room to observe, to see exactly what is happening?
That's what I'm saying. That is the reason. I've just explained to you their modus operandi. Plan with the EC and Mr. Kesey in particular in charge. That's the reason. How can you reduce us from 2 to 1 and say that a supervisor who the omission and commission of his agent in the printer, he is responsible for the omission and commission of his agent. Mm-hmm. Me, the one who is hired as my agent, that have to supervise his work, whether he is sleeping in the printing house or he's fraternizing and he's not doing what we sent him there to do inside there. You said, I cannot enter there. I should stand outside and call him to come. So you don't understand the reason.
I see.
That's the game he's playing. When you say, oh, you see, supervisors were not involved. We just made a discretion to just add some exception to add the supervisors. But it's supposed to be only one. But that's the game. So you must also find a different way to still frustrate them and prevent them from achieving their aim.
So after putting in all your measures, at this point, are you comfortable with what is going on now? At least.
Well, as of now, at Buck Press, so far, so good. In fact, as I told the Mr. Buckman and the general manager, they are very cooperative.
Okay.
They are very cooperative.
Okay.
I must be very honest. Mm-hmm. It is checkpoint that the general manager was playing that game.
Okay.
Madam Hilda was playing that game until I escalated the issue, and it got to the owner of the company, checkpoint, mm-hmm. and he came in. And one other issue that we've been having a problem is the plate.
Okay.
You know, to print the sheets, they design it, the EC gives them the data, okay. the information, that is the pictures and all those security data, they give it to them. And then they input it in their computer, okay. into the printing machines. Mm-hmm. And from which they generate a plate.
Okay.
And on the plate, they print the sheet. The sheet is put there to print.
Okay.
I hope you understand.
Yes, I understand.
So when they finish printing the sheets, you still have the design mm-hmm. on the plate,
okay.
which can be put back in the machine and print at any time.
Okay.
So the this plate is very crucial. So after you've printed the EC figure and adjusted 2%, and your excess of 3,000 ballots mm-hmm. for operational losses, why are you still keeping the plate? That's the question I asked them. I said the plate must be defaced and destroyed so that you don't print any semi-life sheets again. So destroy them because you've created over about 3,000 excess for your operational losses. So you have no reason to still be keeping the plates. Then the owner of Checkpoint, he got my argument. He said, Jakpa, you have a legitimate concern. He doesn't understand why 3,000 SS for the printing company's operational losses, which is a lot, and you are still keeping the plate, which is a security risk because it can be used to print again on the blind side of my agent. So the man ordered the general manager to go and destroy the plate immediately. Then she went and came back and said, oh, she needed some ink to chemical to deface the plate, and that she wasn't having it. The man said, okay, take money. The man gave him money, gave her money. Go and buy the chemical and come and deface it and destroy it. Not knowing that she was buying time. Immediately they informed the NPP supervisor, who drove and came to checkpoint. When he came, said, no, they can't destroy the plate, and started creating commotion.
But had they not finished using that plate?
Long ago, and they finished, and the constituency they've gotten the EC figures. In fact, the constituency have already been cut and binded into booklets, and they've gotten the figures. So they've gotten the figures, and they still have excess of over 2,000 and something ballots still there unused.
Oh, okay.
So I said, if you have that, why is your reason for still keeping the plate? And the owner of the firm agreed that it should be destroyed because it didn't make sense to him too. But that was a decision from the general manager, Hilda, and the MPP people refusing to destroy the plate.
Did they ultimately destroy it?
As I speak tonight, they have not destroyed it. I'll explain, I'll get to that. So they didn't destroy it because they created commotion. And then the electoral commission rep over there said, okay, he is going to inform Mr. Kisi, boss, and get directives. And I said, okay, no problem. So the following day when I went there, the directive that came to EC is that they shouldn't be destroyed. They should keep them there until they have finished all the region, all the constituencies in the particular region before they are destroyed. In fact, initially, Mr. Kisi said they shouldn't be destroyed. They should keep them there until EC has done the bargain and the ballots have gone to the regions.
Oh.
Before the place should be destroyed. You see, that man is a bit diabolical. Very, 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 very subtle. So when I said no, so when I said no, that cannot be. They cannot, the EC cannot send the ballots to the regions before the place are destroyed.
What was his reason for
his reason being that when they get to the region and they are checking, maybe there may be some losses and maybe they need to print again. And I said there can't be losses because you have 2% booklets extra on top. So what is your reason? You have 2% as EC booklet on top of the figure you need for that constituency, for contingency. Unless you are telling me that there's some, when you keep them, there's some grass cutter that comes to chew the booklets, or water poured on all the booklets. It doesn't make sense to me.
So as you speak now, those plates
I'll get there.
Okay.
So I protested. I said, no, that's not possible. That will not be allowed. So now they decided, okay, the place should be destroyed after a region's, they finish with all the constituency in a region. And the booklets have been bagged, ready to be escorted to the region. Then the place should be destroyed. But my issue was that they should be destroyed after each constituency.
Okay.
Because when you finish and you get your figures and you get your extra 2%, and there's still excess for the printing house tape and use lying down there, you don't have a reason to keep that constituency's plate, which can be used to print again, which is a concern for me.
Okay.
They rejected that. They now said for the whole region. So if it's Ashanti region, 47 constituencies or so, you have to wait for them to finish all. So now what we do is that now the agents are documenting all the plates.
Okay.
Okay, we've used 6 for this constituency. The next day we use 4. You add them. So you have to be handed over to your next shift. So you can keep track of them. And they should be placed at where he can always see them. That's the measures you put in place.